Good morning and welcome to Run Free and Strong. I'm Rayto. It's our Sunday long run on the Appalachian Trail outside of Kent, Connecticut on the River Road trailhead heading southbound. This is week one of my Yeti 100-mile endurance run training. The race is on September 27th in Abingdon, Virginia. And if you've been following this channel, you may be aware that I'm going to attempt a sub 24-hour 100-miler. Well, on this run hike today, I'm going to share with you my Yeti 100 training plan, talk a little bit about my training objectives, race objectives, and what's important given that I've run this race twice in the past. So a little background and context. I ran the Yeti 100 in Virginia in 2020, DNF'd at mile 72 due to my lower back injury, could not move anymore. Came back in 2020, the following year, and completed the Yeti 100 in 28 hours, 12 minutes. So quite a bit to go before I can go sub 24. And also ran the Virginia 7 Trails in 2020, 100-miler, which shares some of the same Virginia Creeper Trail around Damascus as the Yeti.
Let's start with training objectives. I have 3 objectives: time on feet, training volume, and hard efforts. These training objectives align with the requirements to run 100 miles in 24 hours and using a run-walk-run strategy to average about 14-minute miles, including aid station and other stops. I have to pivot my training from the Abingdon Marathon to the Yeti 100-mile endurance run. These are 2 very different races that require very different training. The Yeti training will also encompass training for the Kodiak 50K, which I'm running 2 weeks after the Yeti. As mentioned, I'm training to attempt a sub 24-hour 100-mile ultra. Racing ultra for time requires different training than the racing to complete the distance. I ran the JFK 50-mile ultra in 2021 for time. My goal was to finish under 10 hours, and I completed the JFK 50-miler in 9 hours and 50 minutes. I'll briefly cover race objectives. It's important to balance how hard I push early in the race to build a time reserve, while I manage my lower back injury to delay as much as possible the debilitating runner's lead. I want to efficiently move through the 12 aid stations to refuel, rehydrate, and change clothes. If I were to spend 10 minutes at each aid station, that would add up to 2 hours. Finally, I want to minimize my lower back issues at around 65 miles and descending from White Top Mountain during what will be a cold night to get me to the finish as the sun rises. Next, I'd like to share with you my 10-week training plan for the Yeti 100-mile endurance run. I've structured the 10 weeks into 3 training blocks. The initial 4 weeks is to ramp up post-Abingdon Marathon, and then the key training blocks are block 2 and 3 of 3 weeks each. And finally, I plan a 2-week taper, of which week 1 is a 50% reduction in training volume, and week 2 is completely off, with the race being on Friday. For the 10 weeks, I plan to train almost 600 miles, or almost 8,000 kilometers, with almost 40,000 feet of vert, or about 10,000 meters. Total time on feet is somewhere around 120 hours. Let's take a little bit of a deeper dive into the training plan. As mentioned, training blocks 2 and 3 are key. My target is to run 70-mile weeks, with the key being 2 back-to-back 20-mile long runs on groomed trails on the weekend. In order for me to accomplish that, I have reduced the amount of climbing and descending those weeks to about 3,000 feet of vert, or a shade under 1,000 meters. However, time on feet will be maximized because those long runs are going to be primarily a run-walk-run strategy. As I progress through the 10-week training plan, I will share weekly updates on my progress. The first week was a good one. Ramping back up Post-Verbier Marathon, I ran 40 miles, about 5,000 feet of vert, 8.5 hours of time on feet. And you can see what I've done there. With the two highlights for the week are the 10-mile technical run on the Appalachian Trail on Sunday, which is the footage in this video. And the Thursday failed lactate threshold workout, which was planned to be 8 by 800, ended up being 3 by 800, stopped because I wasn't fully recovered from the Verbier Marathon. Let's go, guys.
10-mile Sunday long run on the Appalachian Trail done. About 3,000 feet of vert. Hot and humid as it's been all week, but a great way to end week 1 of my 10-week Yeti 100 training plan. About 40 miles, somewhere around 5,000 feet of vert. Excited about week 2. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, please give it a thumbs up, smash that like button. If you're not already following our journey, please consider subscribing. I would very much appreciate that. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.